Alright. Hi, Melanie. Welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm alright.
Just alright?
Yeah.
Okay. I know we went over some things last week. We just went over some family history, things like that, getting to know a little bit about your background. But today I'm going to start with what's bringing you in here, in your own words.
So, right now I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do, and I know I have to, act really fast about it, or else, I might get myself into a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm. And how far along are you?
I just found out I'm pregnant, so like two months.
2 months? Okay, so you're fairly new in the game.
I'm not showing. Most people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the only person who knows is my best friend.
Okay. And your best friend, how did she react when you told her?
I trust her. She knows how it is with my parents, and she kind of agrees with me that I should probably get an abortion, I don't really want anybody to know. I think I might just, get an abortion and just, I'm 18, so I can do that without anybody knowing, but I don't know, I just feel really conflicted, and I feel like that's a huge secret that I would have to have for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. So the confliction would be with you getting the abortion, or just the idea of getting it? It sounds like you're pretty unsure of what you want to do, but...
Yeah. Well, my parents want me to be perfect, and so with that, they're gonna be really, really disappointed if I have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really had a job in my life, and I don't really know what it takes to raise a child.
Yeah. Now, you've mentioned your parents a couple of times here, so I'm going to start right there if you don't mind. So you said there's this perfection that your parents are placing upon you. Has that always been so?
Yeah, I've always been pushed to play sports and get really good grades, and they want me to go to college and get a good job before I ever think about having any children or anything like that.
And was this something as far back as you can remember? This is something that's always been?
Yeah, since I was a little kid, they told me I was going to go to college and I was going to make good money one day.
Mm-hmm. So based upon your parents' idea of perfection and how that's working on you right now, did you see that, growing up, did you see that as, a kind of a hindrance in your life?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure to, for them to expect me to always be perfect.
Right. So, a little bit about your parents. So, a lot of the pressure that they're putting on you is it seems like it's causing, taking a toll on you mentally and emotionally. It seems like it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, now, do you feel as though your parents wanting this type of perfection, do you think that's something that they've had to deal with themselves when they were children? Do you think...
Probably, but things are a lot harder for people my age than their age, I think. When they went to college, they knew they were going to get a job, and they knew they were going to make X amount of money, and for, people my age right now, a lot of us are going to college and not really getting anywhere.
So, have you thought about the idea of that maybe your parents pushing you for this perfection is a positive thing? Maybe it's because they want something better for you, they want you to exceed and excel?
Yeah, I think that it comes from a good place, but I don't know. yeah, I guess it comes from a good place that they want me to, you know, have a life that's as good or better than the one I have now. And I don't think they'd be happy with me, you know, finding out that I, you know, messed up this majorly by getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're gonna think that if I told them, they would think that I was ruining my life.
Right. So we said that we went over that, like, maybe they did want better for you and wanted you, you know, to have more of a chance than they did, and that this might be something that might hinder them, hinder your chances, the pregnancy. But how do you feel? I can't say how do you feel. Do you think by you telling them that it's going to be this earth-shattering thing where it's like maybe you're bringing shame, or just like, how do you perceive you telling them, like, how is that going to have such an impact on your relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I'm afraid that if I tell them, they're going to want to know more and more and more about, like, secrets that I've been keeping. It's going to be like a floodgate opening, because they didn't even know that I ever had sex. I haven't really talked to them about my boyfriend, Nate. I think that once I tell them, they're going to freak out, and they're going to say something to Nate's parents, and Nate's going to get in trouble, I'm going to get in trouble, and I don't think that it will go well if I tell them, and I think that they'll see me differently, and they're Christian, so I don't think that they would want me to get an abortion, but they also wouldn't want me to have a baby, so
it sounds like there's confliction on their side as well, yeah. You know, with you don't want to tell them because you're afraid that there are other things that might come out that you don't necessarily feel like you're ready to let them know, but at the same time, it's just like they're on their perspective. It's just like you're unsure of how they're going to take it, what they're going to make you do, and what they might want to make you not do, where you seem like you have this idea of what you actually want to do going forward.
I mean, I feel like I do have an idea of what I want to do, but at the same time, I'm here talking to you because I don't necessarily know what to do.
Yeah. So we're going to try and find out what's the best decision for you to tell your parents, or how to go about everything.
Yeah, I know it's a lot of weight to carry right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it feels like I have like a ticking time bomb like inside of my body right now.
I mean, that's understandable, you know. This is something it's a big change to your life, whatever the outcome may be. So that's very understandable that you would feel like there's this pressure that's on you.
Yeah, I just regret ever letting myself get in this situation, because I feel like I should have known better.
So tell me how you met Nate. He's the father of the child, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a cheerleader and he plays football. So we've, gone to like parties that our parents didn't really know about, and we've like drank and stuff together. But like, he definitely wouldn't want to have a kid right now. He has all these people trying to give him scholarships for colleges all over the place, and like we've already talked about how we probably will break up after high school. So I think that if I were to have a kid, it would not only ruin my life but ruin his life too.
So you're saying that the impact of this child coming into the world is something that would both hinder his chances of excelling in school and sports, with his...
Yeah, I don't want to burden him with it. So that's why I haven't told him. But I don't know if it's right for me to make the decision without talking to him at all, or what.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is it that you think will be a burden to him? Do you think, is it more of him not understanding what's going on, or just a total distancing? What do you feel is?
I just don't think that he would want to be in the position of having to decide right now, and I don't want to distract him from what he's trying to do with his life, just like I don't want to be distracted from really what I want to do with my life either.
But yet you're the one carrying this burden by yourself.
Because I'm the girl.
Yeah, I see. Like, tale as old as time, right? Now you do say that there is one person in your life who does know.
Yeah.
Emily was her name?
Mm-hmm. My best friend.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Emily.
Well, we grew up, you know, we lived on the same street, and her parents are friends with my parents, so, but I tell her every secret that I have, and so, you know, when I told her, she knew that I was in deep shit.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I trust her not to say anything. I think we haven't talked about it over text because our parents will read our text messages if they think something's up, so we've only talked about it in person, and she told me that whatever I decide to do, she would support me, but she kind of told me that maybe I should tell my parents, because I don't know if I go to the doctor if they'll see the charge on the insurance and ask me what that's about.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm afraid that, like, my parents might try to make me, like, give it up for adoption, but I don't want people at school to know, and I don't want to, like, say goodbye to a baby.
Yeah.
Really.
So, you do have this confidant in Emily, you know, who's right now pretty much your only support system, and she's the one who's just really helping you come to an understanding of what could be done and how best for you to handle things.
Yeah, I'm lucky to have her.
Yeah. But there still is that fear of you going somewhere and actually getting things checked out, things looked at, with the possibility of your parents knowing.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a place that would do it secretly, or if I, you know, need to try to, I don't have a job. My parents don't let me work, so I don't have any money.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe if I told Nate, he could help me pay for it, because I think he has money.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Yeah. So have you on your own, or have you and Emily possibly, like, discussed options that are out there?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, she thinks that I should talk to my parents, and we've talked about me getting an abortion or me getting it up for adoption, but I don't really like any of my choices. I wish I could just go back in time and change things.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So right now it's a lot of feeling of regret and, like, decisions that you've made, like, maybe those weren't the best decisions for you in hindsight, which has brought you up to where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, it seems as though your parents are playing a big role. I know you don't want to tell them, but they play a big role in the actual decision making of what you may or may not want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's sounding like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say they kind of, not only with the perfection, but they kind of hold the finances, kind of make the decisions for you in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
but I am 18.
Yeah. Yes, you are 18. But even though you're 18, and I think by law you're considered an adult, it still seems like there's this hold that's on you, like your parents are holding on you.
Because they, you know, I live with them, they pay for my stuff, and they've never let me have a job, so I have no savings.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really feel capable. I don't even feel like I'm a grown-up yet, even though I'm 18.
So it's like, without having all these assets under your belt, in a sense, it's like you're still beholden to comply by their rules, do as they say, because they are the bearers of everything you have, in a way. Okay. Aside from, them possibly saying, okay, maybe we do want you to get maybe we don't want you to have an abortion. Maybe we do want you to have this child and put it up for adoption. What would be the next worst thing in you actually telling them? What do you think would be the next worst thing?
Them finding out from somebody else, or having to live with a secret for my whole life.
Are you saying your parents having to live with the secret, or you having to live with the secret?
Yeah, because I feel like if I do get an abortion without telling them, then I would have to keep that a secret forever.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I tell Nate and he tells somebody and Nate tells somebody, and then eventually it gets back to them. So I've really been playing, like, keeping my cards close, because I don't know what to do, and I'm trying to, like, keep things under wraps as much as I can.
Yeah.
For now, but I'm gonna start showing soon, and I'm gonna have to make a decision before it's too late.
Yeah. You said something really important. When I asked about what would be the worst thing about after your parents' options, what was the worst thing that they could possibly do, you said that for you, holding in that secret would be kind of like this burden, like this big thing on you. So it's sounding like a little bit, it's not so, after, telling them that this is playing a bigger role and having a bigger weight on you than I think you may even possibly realize. I'm wondering, is you holding in this secret something that may eventually, do you feel like it's something eventually you holding this in would affect your relationship with your parents down the line?
Yeah, I guess so.
And how do you figure that would happen?
I guess I would probably, when I have to go to college, I guess maybe I would talk to them less to try to keep the secret, or feel like I can't talk to them about certain things. But at the same time, if I tell them, they might hold it over my head forever too.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, this whole situation is...
So it sounds like that's a huge conflict, because it sounds like even though your parents are so strict and they have such a control over your life, it still seems like on one hand you have this respect for them where you don't want them, you want to tell them something, but you're kind of afraid to hold that in if you do it. But on the other hand, it could go completely sour and just ruin your relationship in a sense. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I guess your parents are supposed to love you no matter what, but I don't know. I've heard some crazy stories.
I mean, parents can be like that. They're parents. They want the best for you. I mean, so it's like, do you feel as though, say you were to go and approach them and tell them, is there like a feeling of shame that's gonna fall upon them, like guilt? Like, do you think
Absolutely.
there's punishment on their part? Like,
I mean, they probably, if they find out, they probably won't let me do anything for a while. Probably won't, want me to hang out with Nate for sure. And I feel like they won't really trust me anymore. So, because I lied to them about where I was before and they didn't even know that I was having sex. So,
yeah, there's a lot of secrets going on.
yeah, that's what happens when, your parents are so strict. You just get better at lying.
So do you think, like, this situation wouldn't have happened had not there been such strictness in the household?
I mean, there's I guess the fault's, my own, but partially yes, because if they, if we had an open line of communication before this ever happened, that might have prevented me. I would have probably gotten on birth control or something like that. But I didn't get on birth control because I was afraid they would find out, and I didn't buy condoms because I was afraid that they would see me in the store and like tell my parents. So partially, if they could ease up a little bit, then maybe I wouldn't be in this position right now.
I do like how, even though you're placed in this situation, you do own up to some of the mistakes that you've made, and you've like recognized them, and you've accepted them. So let's just say this: say you did tell your parents, and they reacted completely opposite of how you think they're going to react, and they're basically supporting you. They're just like, we want whatever is best for you, whatever you think. How would that make you feel? How do you think that would go?
I mean, it might go that way with my mom, but definitely not my dad. He's really protective over me and probably will freak out on Nate and get Nate in a lot of trouble with his family.
Okay.
But I do think that my mom might be a little more chill about the situation. But she also will probably, I don't know, I don't think that they'll react well.
Okay. So now I want to shift the focus a little bit between you and Nate, since he is the other half of this situation. So you haven't told Nate, and is his relationship with his parents mirroring yours with?
I don't honestly know. Like, we've only been dating for like 4 or 5 months. I don't know what his home life is really like that much. You'd think I would, but we're honestly not as close as you'd think. Because my parents are so kind of trying to shelter me so much.
Yeah.
That's really hard for me to form like close relationships with a lot of people because they will read my texts and stuff. So I only get to see him for a little bit at school, passing the hallway, and then, like football practice and stuff like that. He's busy, I'm busy, and then,
so
parties we drank,
So it seems like your parents also have a hold on you in that area, where because they're so tight, like short leash with you there, you weren't able to form the necessary bond with Nate before you weren't even given a chance to be able to just get to know each other, form that kind of foundation for the relationship.
Yeah, I guess talking to you is kind of bringing to light how much I wish I had more independence and control over my life, especially considering that I'm 18, but I feel like I'm being treated like a 15-year-old still. And like, I can't wait to go to college. I want to go to college and live on campus, because that's one thing my parents will actually let me do, and then I'll be able to have a fucking life. And now if I have a kid, that would ruin that.
So do you think if you were so it sounds like that's also playing a role in your decision making as well, like if they are to find out, that will kind of ruin your chances for the life that you plan on having yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So do you think, like, so say you were to go ahead and discuss this with Nate and discuss it with Nate's parents, how do you think that would go? Like, do you feel, say you were comfortable in telling him at this moment, how do you think that would go? That whole interaction with the parents and himself?
I think he'd be on my side about getting an abortion, because we both aren't ready to have a kid for sure. And I'm pretty sure, his parents, if his parents have it, aren't as ridiculous as mine, they would see that it's a good idea too, because we both want to go to college and like live away at college, and we weren't really planning on being together for much longer.
So it sounds like
where I'm going to college, up north, and he wants to go in like somewhere warm like Florida. I want to go where I can ski.
Yeah. So it sounds like there possibly could be an advocate for the both of you, and the decision that you are leaning towards and that he may agree with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess he would agree that that was the best decision for me.
Okay. So let's say this. Say you had, I don't want to put it that way. So say you do tell your mom, you do tell your dad, like, say you wake up tomorrow morning and you're still pregnant, but everything's out in the open. No one's arguing, no one's fighting, everyone is, compliant, everyone's like not so against you. How would you go forward with all of that information in your perfect world?
I would get the abortion and move on with my life. That's what I think I want to do.
And that's something like,
the more I talk to you about it, the more I'm like, that's definitely something that needs to happen, irregardless of what anybody thinks. I think. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you do have a pretty made up mind. You're kind of sure of what you want to do, so that you're able to accomplish the things you'd like to accomplish.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can definitely help you with, like, I can give you some information, and to connect you with certain providers and like certain resources where you can get more information and get moving in the direction that you would like to go, if that's something you'd like.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So I can give you that information, and then we can meet up next week and discuss any finalizations and how we plan to move forward.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, great. I'll see you next week.
All right.